Pennsylvania. Hello, everyone. I'm Eli Gold. Welcome to Pocono International Raceway. Today, the Summer 500, and I'm joined again on our SETN coverage by Dr. Jerry Punch. And it's always fun coming to this racetrack because it is such a unique, unusual layout that makes for awfully competitive racing.
Eli, it's the only triangular facility in NASCAR and Winston Cup competition, probably the only one that I know of in the country. It has 3 turns only, 3 different turns, a banking of 14 degrees, 8 degrees, and basically flat for turn 3. The longest straightaway in Winston Cup racing, 7/10 of a mile long, the widest, 100 feet wide. They scatter out 7 abreast. The interesting racetrack, it makes for some great racing.
That finish of a year ago here at the Summer 500, as we just saw, it took NASCAR a full lap as the cars were cooling down to check over the videotape of the photo finish camera, and it was a heck of a victory for Tim Richmond.
Well, they've been averaging 49 or 50 lead changes here over the years, and that speaks well for the competition we have here. And that finished last year for the Summer 500, inches apart, those 3 cars. I mean, we should see something like that today, probably.
The third member of our broadcast crew today will be patrolling pit road throughout the afternoon, Pat Patterson. Right now, he's with the man who finished second a season ago, Ricky Rudd in the Motorcraft Ford.
Ricky, last time here at Pocono, you did a good job. You finished second. What's going to be different today for you?
Well, it's a whole set of different circumstances. You know, we're coming up here with the 87 Ford Thunderbird, where last year we had the 86 model. It's going to be a good race. I just hope we can be in that close a position as we were the last race here. We lost by, I think, 2 to 3 inches, they said, at the start-finish line. So the Motorcraft Ford team did everything we were supposed to have done the last time, except we finished second. So hopefully we can improve on that, and we're going to give it a good shot. And it's an awful competitive field here today.
You know, Bud Moore, your car owner, and the crew have done such a great job all year for you, getting you in and out of the pits, and that's really going to be critical here.
Well, I say at Pocono, pit strategy, how quick they get you in and out of the pits, when to take 4 tires, when to take 2 tires, is probably more critical here at Pocono than any other racetrack that we run on the circuit. So track position becomes important here. So a lot of strategy here in the pits, and I'd say that this race will probably be won and lost in the pits if it comes down to a green flag situation at the end of the race.
Okay, Ricky Rudd, second here last time, looks for a win here today at Pocono. Well, thank you, Pat. You know, Eli, the Fords always run well here at Pocono, and Ricky Rudd in particular. The car he has here today is the car that he won earlier in the year at Atlanta and won last year at Dover. It's a good car for intermediate-sized tracks, and maybe it'll run well today.
You know, the Fords could well be a factor here again. Bill Elliott always runs well at this racetrack. Kyle Petty is sky high in the Wood Brothers Ford Thunderbird. But I guess going into the event, nearly grabbing his second pole of the season, Alan Kulwicki starts on the outside of row number 1, yet another Ford Thunderbird.
Well, you can't say enough about the 32-year-old Milwaukee native Kulwicki, reigning champion spark plug rookie of the year. But Kulwicki has never finished a race here at Pocono. He's only run 3 in the past, but he's never finished here. The car he's got here has never finished a race. He's a brand new car at Charlotte. He wrecked it there. He brought it here to Pocono, finished 30th in June, took the car to Michigan, finished 31st. So he says he's hoping to get his first good finish here, and the first finish for that new car he's got, nicknamed Fonzie.
Let's visit with Fonzie's driver. Alan Kulwicki is with Pat Patterson.
Alan, you start on the outside pole today here at Pocono. What do you look for during this race?
It's a long race, really. You know, it's a pretty hard track on engines and on brakes. So, you know, we want to run hard and stay up near the front, lead if we can. But you also have to try to keep in mind you got to save the car towards the end of the race a little bit. You know, the guy that's going to win is the guy that's going to be strong and in good position after his last pit stop. So you got to sort of balance the two.
You really are starting the second half of the season here. You had one Busch pole earlier this year, and now the outside pole here at Pocono. Are things turning around for the Xerox Ford?
I really hope so. We've run good just about everywhere we've been, but we've had mechanical problems of one sort or another, or a blown tire or an accident, little problems that keep plaguing us. And this is the start of the second half of the season, and I really am looking forward to turning it around right here today.
Okay, good. Alan Kulwicki and Tim Richmond will pace them away as we get ready for Pocono.
Thanks, gentlemen. And, you know, you've got to like a fellow like Alan Kulwicki. Not that much experience on Winston Cup racetracks yet, but with what he has done over the years on the short tracks of these United States, he's always tough. And I like the fact that he has nicknamed his car like so many other fellows have.
Well, it's an interesting story, Eli. Quickly, they had a Name the Car contest up in Milwaukee where Alan is from. And since his sponsor is Xerox Antifreeze, they figured, well, Xerox keeps you cool, and Fonzie's cool, so someone came up with the name Fonzie, and it stuck. So he hoping the car will be cool today and not hot in the garage area as it's been the first 3 times out.
You know, when you check out the title to this racetrack, it says, owner, Dr. Joe Mattioli. But if you check the NASCAR record book, you might think Tim Richmond is the owner of this racetrack. We'll follow up on that in a visit with the pole sitter. Raceway, Eli Gold with Dr. Jerry Punch. And here we are mid-season, actually into the second half of the Winston Cup season. for everybody, with the exception of Tim Richmond, actually, since his start was somewhat delayed this year because of illness. He's almost looking at this race as his Daytona 500.
Well, it's sort of an opening for Richmond. He came here and won the first race of the year that he participated in, and certainly he would like to continue that streak here and be the first driver to win 4 in a row here at Pocono and tie that NASCAR record that Bill Elliott set at Michigan in 85 and 86. But the first half of the season is over, Eli. A lot of drivers looking for that third quarter lunge, like Darrell Waltrip and Ricky Rudd, people who want to win a race who haven't had a good first half yet, although Ricky Rudd has won a race. But Waltrip would like to turn it around. And Neil Bonnet really looks strong today and thinks he may have a shot at winning.
Let's visit for a few moments with our pole sitter, Tim Richmond. He's with Pat Patterson.
Thank you, Eli. 14 times this man has led him away on a Winston Cup race. Today, Tim Richmond will once again lead him away here at Pocono. He's getting strapped in now. Tim, what do you look for in the start of this race today?
Well, look for the green flag first. And then, you know, just kind of keep the car a little conservative and see who's strong and who's not. And then, you know, if you're not as strong as somebody, start making adjustments to try to get as stronger, and then drive the living dog manure out of it, I guess.
Have you been concerned at all about how hot it may get this afternoon, Tim?
No. I get this cool suit, if I can get buckled in. Go. You got it. I got the cool suit, and it seems to work all right. Matter of fact, it's chilling me down right now.
All right, Tim Richmond, good luck this afternoon. Let's go back, Eli Gold.
Really is tough to bet against a guy like Tim Richmond.
Oh, it's awful tough, Eli. You know, Poconos are known for a honeymooner's paradise, the favorite sport here, honeymooning. But for Tim Richmond, he's been a perpetual bride here 3 times, and it's tough to bet against him today.
Yeah, there couldn't be a better day for racing either. Temperatures in the mid-80s, bright sunshine, the crowd filing in. Glad you're with us. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for today's Summer 500. The crowd files in from every which direction here as we take a look at Tim Richmond on the pole, the Chevrolet going off at 155.979 miles an hour.
Alan Kulwicki will start second. The Z-Rex Alugard Ford. Good qualifying run, 155.796 miles per hour.
Another of the drivers to have broken the track record here, Bill Elliott from Dawsonville, Georgia. The Coors Milling Ford, 155.645 miles an hour.
45-year-old Morgan Shepherd will start fourth. He brings the Quaker State Buick in, hoping for a good run, yet to win this year in the Kenny Bernstein-owned car.
Also looking for another victory, Kyle Petty. After winning at Charlotte earlier this season, the Wood Brother Ford Thunderbird goes to the post in starting position 5.
The Haviland Ford for Davey Allison, the car that won at Dover a few weeks ago. Davey from Hueytown, Alabama, leading champion spark plug Sears Rookie of the Year.
Harry Gant goes 7th in the Skull Bandit Chevrolet, looking for a victory this season. What's been a bit of a tougher year than they would have expected.
And Ricky Rudd, the Close But No Cigar Award from a year ago. You saw this before. Rudd in the Motorcraft Ford. He will start in 8th spot.
A youngster from Chemung, New York, Brett Bodine, doing double duty this year. Winston Cup and Busch Grand National driving. He starts Hoss Ellington's car 9th.
And Terry Labonte in the Budweiser Chevrolet, set on the pole for the first Pocono event this year, the Miller High Life 500. He will start 10th today.
Joe, that's a look at the top 10 as the field gets set to roll off pit road. Neil Bonnet, Jeff Bodine go in row number 6. Veterans Buddy Baker and Rusty Wallace go in row 7 as the field rolls off pit road.
Row 8 will have Benny Parsons in the car number 35, and a surprise back in row 8, Dale Earnhardt, the Wrangler Jean Chevrolet. Row 9, 3-time Pocono winner Bobby Allison and Phil Parsons.
Michael Waltrip and Rick Wilson go in row 10. Ken Schrader and Richard Petty, a Ford and a Pontiac, start in row number 11.
Row 12 will have Sterling Marlin and Dave Marcus, Close But No Cigar a week ago at Daytona. Row 13, Darrell Waltrip and Bobby Hillen Jr.
As the field continues to circulate behind the safety car, Long Island's Greg Sachs and driver Dale Jarrett go in row 14. Indiana's Steve Christman and Washington's Derek Cope in row 15.
Row 16, Buddy Arrington and Jocko Giacomo back at Pocono with a brand new car. Independent Trevor Boys in row 17, along with another independent, Jimmy Means.
Charlie Rudolph, a standout here in the Northeast on the dirt, along with Rodney Combs in row 18, Bobby Gerhardt, and super modified driver Ron Shepard going in row 19.
And row 20, Jimmy Horton and Connie Saylor.
So we're getting set to go for the Winston Cup event here at Pocono. But this is actually the second racing event of the weekend here in the Pocono Mountains. Yesterday, the ARCA cars ran a special 100-mile event for the ARCA division, the Dash for Cash, if you will. And it was veteran Bobby Schacht in car number 75, you see, leading the orange and white machine for Grant Adcox, one of the pre-race favorites. That was driver Bill Venturini of Chicago, was on pit road early, but so too was Schacht. There's Charlie Glotzbach. But it was Bobby Schacht of Lombard, Illinois, picking up the checkered flag from Harold Kinder, winning the ARCA Dash for Cash here at Pocono Raceway. Now today we're set to go for the Winston Cup division. Tim Richmond on the pole, car number 25. Car number 7, Alan Kulwicki in the Xerox Ford Thunderbird. And we are set for 200 laps, 500 miles here at the triangular-shaped Pocono International Raceway. Looking for the green. And as Harold Kinder gets him going, Tim Richmond quickly jumps out in front, opening up the inside groove for Kulwicki and Bill Elliott. They'll try and challenge as Morgan Shepherd takes the Quaker State Buick. Everybody jockeying for position.
Field fanning out down toward turn 1, but everyone watching Bill Elliott. They knew he would be strong. He qualified third, and the car was missing during qualifying. They came in and changed the coil. He was on 7 cylinders most of his qualifying lap, but he's chasing Tim Richmond.
Tim Richmond in car number 25, the Folgers Coffee Chevrolet, the first of 200 laps here in Pocono. Bill Elliott right behind in the Milling Coors Ford Thunderbird. They're now heading on the short straightaway, some 0.3 of a mile from turn number 2 to the flat turn 3, and Bill Elliott tries to make a move to the inside of Tim Richmond, trying to squeeze into the inside of that short, flat turn. Actually, it's not really all that short. You spend more time in turn number 3 here than you do in either of the other 2 turns on this triangular racetrack. Alan Kulwicki right there behind him as Richmond leads that first lap.
Drag strip 7/10 of a mile long. Longest straightaway on the Winston Cup Tour. And Elliott showing the muscle in the Coors Ford. And Kulwicki sneaks to the inside. They got to squeeze down, and Kulwicki gets shoved back behind Tim Richmond. It is Elliott and Richmond. There's the battle back in the pack.
Further back at 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th positions as some of those cars had gotten themselves shuffled back on the restart. Now it's Bill Elliott. Thunderbirds here maybe not as decided of an advantage as they have at some of the other racetracks. Sterling Marlin, you see, with Bobby Allison. Bobby's young son, Davey, running in 5th right now, a whole lot better than the last time we were here back in June when Davey wrecked his car during qualifying, actually the practice session right before qualifying.
Well, I'm sure Bobby is giving him some pointers. Bobby's won 3 in a row here back in the early 80s.
We have caution on the speedway. There is caution on the speedway. A problem with Jimmy Means' car, and quickly the lead automobiles take a quick jump down pit road. Dale Earnhardt being serviced by Kirk Shelmerdine and the crew, and it's a 4-tire change.
You would expect to see all the crews try to get in and get 4 fresh tires on every yellow flag here at Pocono. Fresh rubber is important here. Good pit stops, even under caution for the Wrangler crew. And busy place is pit road. There's the car number 5, Levi Garrett car, and the Allison Miller car on pit road.
So engine problems for Jimmy Means brings out caution flag number 1.
Dale Earnhardt's car. You guys started 16th, and you're already by lap 22. You're leading the race. Obviously, things are going your way.
Well, so far so good. There's a long race yet to run, though.
What's he saying about the track condition right now? Is it in pretty good shape, or is it pretty slick at this point?
Yeah, the track's kind of slippery right now, and because of the sun, because of the heat. Our car's handling pretty fair, though, for the moment, so we hope we can keep it like that all day.
Well, Dale Earnhardt, who currently leads the Winston Cup point standings, will certainly be looking for a victory here at Pocono this afternoon.
Well, Dale is leading the pack right now as we get set for the restart. There's the leaderboard, car 3 and car 25. Then Neil Bonnet, Dale Jarrett with a good run here in the early going, and then Kyle Petty in the 5th spot. That's how they get set to go. They're your top 3 cars looking for the green flag from Harold Kinder.
Neil Bonnet hoping to turn his gear around following the midway point a couple of weeks ago. I had a 8th place finish here at Pocono earlier in the year. Would like to get his car back on track and possibly win today.
Green flag is out. Dale Earnhardt will lead the land rush back to turn number 1. Further back, Bill Elliott and Kyle Petty flare out. Darrell Waltrip, Harry Gant from all the way at the back of the pack, going about 6 lanes wide to avoid some of the race traffic. And it's Earnhardt, who again leads the parade with Tim Richmond right there in his tire tracks. Half car lane back is Neil Bonnet.
These drivers hug the bottom groove in turn 1. 14-degree banking, and then up the short chute, the Long Pond straightaway. Actually, it's 0.5 of a mile. And over the tunnel turn where Tim Richmond is making his move, Eli.
Tim moves inside of Dale Earnhardt. This is for the lead, and Tim Richmond has it and pulls away by a car length or so until Earnhardt, right over top of the tunnel, closes right back in again. If you're just joining us, I'm Eli Gold with Dr. Jerry Punch and Pat Patterson on pit road. Coverage from SETN of the Summer 500 here at Pocono. Neil Bonnet, 75. Kyle Petty, car 21. And there's that totally flat turn number 3. Kind of like a road course turn. You'd see it Riverside, California, or Watkins Glen, New York.
Richard Petty having a good run. He's moving his way up toward the front. There they are, single filed.
Alan Kulwicki about 8th or 9th in line, running consistently at this point. He's never done particularly well here, as we had mentioned earlier in the show. There we saw for a moment Kulwicki and a host of others. There now, a battle again between Bill Elliott and Dale Earnhardt. That's for second spot behind Tim Richmond. Elliott got the good jump off the corner, and on the Long Pond straightaway, he out-accelerates Dale Earnhardt.
Elliott looking awfully strong here.
There's the leader. Kyle Petty running in 4th. Sterling Marlin, car number 44. He's holding down the 5th spot. 6th is 22, Bobby Allison. 7th is car 75, Neil Bonnet.
Richmond trying to tie the record to win 4 consecutive events at a racetrack, and trouble.
Trouble for Jeff Bodine. Going across the tunnel, the car tags the wall. Problems for Jeff Bodine and the Levi Garrett Chevrolet. Caution is on the speedway. All the lead cars head down pit road. Dale Earnhardt quickly dives on pit road for service. Tough break for Jeff Bodine.
Look to be heavy damage. The lead cars are in the pits. Right side tires. They come around and will change 4 tires. There's Mike Brandt. And of course, the Elliott crew working on Bill Elliott's Coors 4, changing 4 tires. Everyone taking advantage of this caution to get in the pits and get fresh rubber and fuel.
Earnhardt, quick service. Richard Petty is off pit road in a hurry. Tim Richmond flashing right by. Close quarters work there on pit road, but this caution coming about because of the problems for Jeff Bodine as he tagged the wall coming off turn number 2. It's tough to tell exactly what happened because the cars are all the way to the inside groove. Actually, their left side tires, as we've been saying, in the dirt going across the tunnel. And Jeff's car just shot to the outside. Bodine is in the garage area, or Pat Patterson has caught up with him there. Pat, what's the story?
Jeff obviously very disappointed this afternoon. What happened out there?
Something in the steering linkage broke. We thought something was going wrong. The steering wheel kept moving around and not turning the wheels, and finally through the across the tunnel turn, it just broke, and I went straight into the wall. We're checking it out now to see what it is.
We haven't had a chance to ask many people this afternoon. What is the track like this afternoon, Jeff?
Feels good out there. You got to dodge all the rocks and stuff that are flying. Right in the beginning of the race, Dale Earnhardt went through the tunnel and got in the rocks on the inside and threw a rock at me, a boulder, I think, and broke our windshield, and stuff's flying all over the place. I think what they need to do here, they've talked about it, is put some bumper stubs or strips down on the inside of these corners so we can't run through the dirt. You know, we try to take the shortest way around this track, and it's always cutting through the dirt down in turn 1 and 2 and 3. Actually, all 3 corners we cut through the dirt, so we need to get some bumpers there where we can't do that. Be a lot safer, I know that.
Okay, Jeff Bodine, former Daytona 500 winner, out of it at Pocono.
We are under caution. Hi, Jeff. We are under caution here at Pocono, and we'll be coming back with more from the Summer 500 International Raceway with the Summer 500. Eli Gold, Jerry Punch, Pat Patterson, and the SETN crew. There's Terry Labonte, having worked his way to the head of the field. He's got the Miller American Buick of Bobby Allison right behind him. Buddy Baker moving up through race traffic. And there you see Sterling Marlin, Ricky Rudd, Richard Petty, and the 90 Ken Schrader.
Terry Labonte, the Budweiser Chevrolet, trying to get his first win of the year. There's a look back at Benny Parsons, a couple of veterans. Parsons on the right of your screen, Bobby Allison on the left. And there's the leader, Terry Labonte, 30-year-old driver from Corpus Christi, Texas. Yet to win this season. Set on the pole here back in June. Had a short afternoon as he lost the engine in that Budweiser Chevy, but hoping to make up for it today. But now at battle. A couple of Fords, Eli.
Kenny Schrader in the 90. 15 is Ricky Rudd in the Motorcraft Ford. They swing back off turn number 3, basically in the same position. If you're just joining us, this is a triangular racetrack. That's why we're talking of turns 1, 2, and 3. And here comes Bill Elliott for an unscheduled pit stop on pit road.
And the crew just standing there. It looks, yes, it is. A hard right, now a hard left. And Awesome Bill is headed for the garage area.
So Bill Elliott out of it for now. And a problem. Harry Gant in the 33, Bobby Hillen in car number 8. Dale Jarrett did a great piece of driving to get around as Gant, and there's Hillen. And look where Bobby came to a stop just underneath auxiliary flagman Doyle Ford.
I'm sure Doyle got a little bit of a surprise when a car hits just the concrete beneath your feet there, but look at the contact. Heavy damage for Harry Gant's car. Hillen, meanwhile, has his car fired. Pit stop. Here's Tim Richmond back in the Folgers Chevrolet. A lot of damage on that windshield. See that puncture in the windshield right in front of Richmond's face. Cleaning the windshield, changing the tires, Cheech Gardy, and the crew, the Folgers crew, they're changing 4 tires for Tim Richmond.
Service continuing right behind him to Benny Parsons in the second of the Folgers cars, the team cars. Dale Earnhardt being serviced there by Kirk Schilmerdine with the crew. There's Tim Richmond, Terry Labonte, all streaking out of pit road. Problems, we told you earlier, for Bill Elliott. You saw him pull behind the wall. Pat Patterson is with him. Bill, what happened out there? You were running well.
Well, you know, the car quit running. It run awful good while it was running, but, you know, if you can't finish, you can't win. So.
A lot of track trash flying up on the track. Was that bothering you this afternoon?
Well, NASCAR got on to me for running in the grass, and I come back on the radio, and I said, well, it looked like everybody else was too, you know, so what do you do? You know, it's hard to say when you're following somebody where to go, but, you know, I'm going home, worry about next week.
Okay, that's Bill Elliott.
Now, that's been a story all day today as we've been talking. There's how the leaders stack up after the caution. Oldsmobile pace car pulling off between turns 2 and 3, and the field now being paced by Neil Bonnet.
Young rookie driver Brett Bodine from Chemung, New York. A lot of Northern fans here to watch him race. His second time here at Pocono in a Winston Cup car. Dale Jarrett, a Busch Grand National regular on the inside. He's a lap down.
That's car number 18.
Right, Garrett.
He'll try and get a lap back here if he can. Neil Bonnet in the Raymock Valvoline Pontiac is leading the field here at Pocono. Just a handful of cars at this point are a lap down. A lot of cars still on the lead lap, and the green flag from Harold Kinder. Dale Jarrett can't quite get back on the lead lap as Neil Bonnet, Brett Bodine, and the rest all streak away.
Look at young Bodine make a move, Eli, inside of the veteran Bonnet. Brett Bodine inside of Neil Bonnet in turn 1.
And a month ago when we were here, it was the first visit ever to Pocono for the driver of car 1, Brett Bodine. He'd never seen the place and didn't run all that well, but it's been a big change for him. Now Ricky Rudd in the 15, moving inside of Neil Bonnet. Right behind those cars, Kenny Schrader was there battling, and Bobby Gerhardt with a problem. Bobby Gerhardt, the driver from Lebanon, Pennsylvania, sponsored by Omar Landis, the auctioneer, who is particularly big up here. He'll bring out a caution. So Bobby Gerhardt with problems, and that will signal again another series of pit stops. And these cars really haven't been off pit road all that long.
No, they haven't, but he'll come back in and get 4 tires. You know, when you have an engine problem, you can lose parts on the racetrack, and it's good to come in and get fresh rubber. There's Rusty Wallace's Kodiak crew. Barry Dodson, Jimmy May car. John Dodson and the crew changing tires. Now Barry Dodson slings the jack around beneath the left side of the car. They will make a 4-tire change for that machine.
Richard Petty, the SPP Pontiac crew, tending to the needs of the King. Dale Inman, the crew chief there. And again, who leads him off pit road? Dale Earnhardt. He's been getting that kind of pit service all season long.
A lot of congestion. Earnhardt waving. You see him in the mirror waving to Rusty Wallace as they follow each other back onto the racetrack, and trouble possibly for the Folgers Chevrolet. They're not very fast in this pit. Apparently there's a problem. They're just sort of standing around talking with Tim Richmond, and it could be the day is over for Richmond here at Pocono.
We'll follow up on that and much more. Don't you go away. The summer green here at Pocono, Pennsylvania. Car number 3, Dale Earnhardt is the leader. Benny Parsons in the 35 is second. Car number 7, Alan Kowicki, still hanging in there third. Fourth is Buddy Baker. Fifth is Neil Bonnet. Sixth is Terry Labonte. Seventh belongs to Davey Allison as the field goes back to green flag racing, and Earnhardt's quickly right through that gearbox, as he always is. And the problems continuing for Rusty Wallace. The smoke really billowing from behind the Kodiak Pontiac now.
And what poor luck that team has had this year. They had the same kind of break in Michigan just a couple of weeks ago. The car running up front and a lot of smoke beneath the rear of the car, and it's pouring now out of the Kodiak Pontiac. One car that's smoking them, and that's Dale Earnhardt up front.
Earnhardt continuing to run well, basically unchallenged now, with Rusty Wallace off the pace somewhat. There's Rusty again. They'll be bringing him around. They've got the black flag out for Rusty Wallace. He'll be heading toward pit road in just a moment or so. Benny Parsons, Alan Kulwicki, Buddy Baker still running well in car 88. That's the battle for second place there, Parsons and Kulwicki. There comes Rusty Wallace. No trouble spotting him.
Not hard to pick him out of the field at all. And Earnhardt says, see ya.
Let's go to the Rusty Wallace pits. He's in there now for service.
Wallace brings the Kodiak Pontiac in with what appears to be oil blowing down on the header pipe with the smoke coming out. The car is off now. Barry Dodson and crew are under the hood. They'll try to repair this car as he has run so well all day long, but this is going to hurt him. Obviously, it may take him out of the race. Rusty Wallace, it's been his kind of luck all year long. Today, it's going to prevail again here at Pocono.
And there's Ron Shepard. Thank you, Pat Patterson. Ron Shepard with a problem. The driver from Vestal, New York, outside of Binghamton, a super modified driver with a bit of a problem, but there is no caution flag. We will remain under green. Dale Earnhardt, happy to hear that. He continues to stretch out his lead. Now again, Shepard has some problems. Ron Shepard spins again. Pat Patterson is with Dale Earnhardt's car owner.
Mr. Childers, last race here at Pocono, you let it get away from you. This time you've got Dale up front where he wants to be. You look to be in a pretty good spot here with just a few laps left to go.
Well, we just have to see. A lot of cars are running good. We've been running consistent all day, and that's what we've been trying to do. And, you know, anything happen with a few laps to go, we just have to wait and see. A lot of cars have been running good all day long. So.
Okay, Richard Childers, the owner of the Dale Earnhardt car.
He is running awfully well. Look at a good battle there. Second spot, Buddy Baker and Alan Kulwicki getting it now.
Buddy Baker, the gentle giant from Charlotte, North Carolina, has had moderate success here. You say he's had pretty good success. He's finished second 3 times. He's had 11 top 10 finishes at Pocono, but he's yet to win. And one driver who has not won at all in his brief career is Alan Kulwicki. He's given the veteran Baker all he can handle up front.
We had talked to Alan earlier in the telecast, if you were with us at the outset of the show, and he was, well, somewhat confident, shall we say. Confident in the degree of preparation, but it's an awfully tough circuit on which to compete. There again, the leader, Dale Earnhardt.
And you talk about being in victory lane, I think Earnhardt has a summer home there. He's won 7 times this year, looking for win number 8. But there's a couple of guys back there. You see them there, Kulwicki, Baker, Labonte, and Parsons. Those 4 guys would like to keep him out, at least today, here at Pocono.
Benny Parsons running well, so is Buddy Baker, but for the moment, no one can touch Dale Earnhardt. Problems for Steve Christman, the Fort Wayne, Indiana driver, car number 62 in the AC Spark Plug car. He has a bit of a problem on the back straightaway, and he's going to bring out the caution flag. Caution is on the speedway for Steve Christman. This will give us a chance, Jerry, to kind of eavesdrop on a conversation you had yesterday with Davey Allison. He, of course, was talking about the development of tires on the part of Goodyear, and why don't we listen in just a bit?
At 200 miles an hour plus at Daytona or Talladega, you got to be pretty confident in what these Goodyear tires can do.
Jerry, I know every time I take the Haviland Star Thunderbird out on the racetrack that those Goodyear tires are going to hold me up. We're not going to have any problems with them. So I'm totally confident that nothing's going to go wrong and that these are the best tires available.
You realize, of course, that at 200 miles per hour, your only contact with terra firma is these 4 spots on the ground with little bits of rubber.
Well, that's true. You know, if any one of these tires has a problem, then that means disaster for this race car. But I know that that's not going to happen. It would have to be a totally freak accident for something like that to go wrong.
Hey, what is it? It's only about 27 square inches or so per tire that sits actually on the racing surface.
And when you consider the work Goodyear has done over the year, those tires can run 210 plus miles per hour, 215 at Talladega. They have set records repeatedly this year, and for 20 years, all the NASCAR champions have ridden on Goodyear Eagles.
So was Steve Christman until he had a problem that pushed that car up into the wall. And looks as though his afternoon is certainly done. He's a good young-looking driver. He's, you know, we talk about these guys being rookies. They're rookies on the Winston Cup Tour. Steve Christman's probably got as many wins on the short tracks in the Midwest as you can't even count how many he's got.
He had a top 5 finish in the ARCA 200 at Daytona to begin the year, so he's cut his season off off to a good start. Rookie competition here, awfully tough with Davey Allison, Dale Jarrett, Brett Bodine, and a lot of others here in the Winston Cup field.
It'll be 6 laps to go when we get back to green flag racing next time by. Stay tuned. When they get back to the stripe, getting set for the restart, that's how they're running. Earnhardt, Kulwicki, Baker, Labonte, and Parsons. What a shot in the arm it would be if Kulwicki could pick up a win. Buddy Baker needs to win after coming so close a couple of times this year.
Kenny Schrader, Richard Petty, Dave Marcus. The cars on the inside are all lap cars. They are laps down. The cars in the lead lap are lined up on the outside. Earnhardt leads the way at white, red numeraled car number 7, the Z-Rex, Value Guard Ford. Good qualifying run. He qualified second quickest, and that's where he is in the field right now. They come by the scoreboard for the final time. Possibly green flag from Harold Kender.
6 laps to go as they get back to the stripe, and Dale Earnhardt sets them flying again with Alan Kulwicki right behind in spot number 2.
Earnhardt so strong. Looks like he turns on the afterburners, Eli. He just pulls away by 6 or 7 car lengths when they go back to green.
Rusty Wallace is still out there, but he's still smoking from the rear of the Kodiak Pontiac. He'll not be a factor in the last few laps here.
That may be oil smoke, but it's probably steam from Rusty's ears, too, from being so frustrated from the kind of year he's had.
There's Alan Kulwicki on the long pond straightaway between turns 1 and 2. Earnhardt still leads. There you see the margin, first to second. Richard Petty is showing a lap down at this point. Just 7 cars on the lead lap at this juncture of the event. We've well documented the top 5 for you. Davey Allison and Neil Bonnet, the other 2 cars on the lead lap. Earnhardt, Kulwicki, Baker, Benny Parsons, Davey Allison, Labonte, and Neil Bonnet. 5 to go.
Now, in age, these 2 drivers up front are not very far apart. Earnhardt is 35. Kulwicki is 32. Only 3 years difference there. But in experience, Earnhardt has been on this circuit for 8 years. Remember, he was Rookie of the Year in '79, and Kulwicki was Rookie of the Year just a year ago.
Kulwicki, his cars work well, maybe not quite as well in turn number 3 as Dale Earnhardt has. We'll see exactly what kind of a groove they take as they head back towards the tunnel turn and now set their sights on turn 3. Earnhardt again, the yellow and blue car. Kulwicki, the white and red, number 7. Let's see what kind of a line they take here. Coming off turn 2, we saw Kulwicki go a little wider than Earnhardt did, but here in the turn, they're taking very much the same line.
Earnhardt very, very strong getting off of 3 down the front stretch, but Kulwicki really makes up room going into 1. His car seems to really come off that tight 14-degree corner, that high-speed hairpin. Here's Kulwicki, looks to the inside. Nope, not yet. He says, I'll wait another lap, maybe.
Margin of about a car length, maybe a car length and a half between first and second. That's those 2 cars you're looking at right now. Dale Earnhardt and Alan Kulwicki will, of course, have victory lane coverage for you after the checkered flag with comments on whichever driver manages to survive the 200 laps here at Pocono. There's old Rusty Wallace. Put down a little smoke screen. Got to be frustrating.
Good, got to be for Rusty, but laps winding down. The folks are on their feet here at Pocono, Eli. Earnhardt has won 7 times. The young driver from Milwaukee has never won. Got his first pole early in the year, and there's a battle back in the pack.
That's Buddy Baker in the 88, Benny Parsons the 35, the 11 of Labonte, the lap car of Richard Petty, and 71 Dave Marcus. Richard's run well, and so too Marcus. Inside, as you see, of 3 laps to go. Something's got to give. Last time off turn number 2, we had barely got a little peek at it before we checked the other battle. Kulwicki was right in the tire tracks of Earnhardt. There's Terry Labonte, 11. He is on the lead lap. So too Buddy Baker and Benny Parsons. They are battling for position.
There's the battle back up front. You see Earnhardt now across the tunnel turn. So the tunnels go by as they came by. And Kulwicki now trying to ease up, and he may have a fender up there. The front bumper slides inside of Earnhardt. And Kulwicki, the young sophomore driver, goes by the reigning Winston Cup champion. Well, he's not quite. He's by now in turn 3.
You never presume in this business, but Alan Kulwicki gets by. He assumes. Look at the crowd reaction. A lot of Alan Kulwicki partisans here in the Poconos.
A lot of people pulling for the underdog, Eli.
No doubt. Buddy Baker is still third. You see there at the top of the screen, Benny Parsons is running fourth. Davey Allison is a bit further back. He is running in fifth. Terry Labonte is still sixth. Neil Bonnet seventh. Those are the only cars in the lead lap, and here comes Earnhardt right now off turn one. On the long pond straightaway, trying to re-challenge for the lead. Dale has the inside groove covered, but he can't quite pull away totally as others have. Now again, Kowicki's car has been riding up a bit more coming off turn two. That's right where the car is now. And he's able, obviously, to like that groove if he's not driving in too hard into the corner.
Now we're getting into the part where Earnhardt is awfully strong, headed for turn three. You see his car now begin to pull away. That's where Earnhardt's car has been working so well. And a little tap. I'm back here, he says. Alan Kowicki says to Dale Earnhardt. They're off of turn three, headed down for the start-finish line.
1 lap to go. White flag from Harold Kinder. 2.5 miles of racing remaining here on this triangular layout in the Pocono Mountains.
Alan Kowicki, a half a car length back, Eli, in turn one. He knows he's got to make his move. This is where his car is the strongest. Can Kowicki do it? Boom, a little tap again, and Earnhardt is high. Kowicki on the bottom of the track. They're door to door up to turn two.
Alan Kowicki found that inside groove to his liking. He'll try and out-accelerate Earnhardt. Now again, let's watch Kowicki's car, because coming off turn two, as we've been telling you, his car has been riding up a little bit. He has the inside lane covered. And again, the car rides up a little bit more. Earnhardt was waiting for it, finds the inside groove, and Dale Earnhardt now pulls off for the lead. And that might have been the experience of Earnhardt, knowing, as we all have been pointing out, exactly what Kowicki's car has been doing.
And look at this. Earnhardt says, see you, but Kowicki says, not yet, buddy. We've still got about a half a mile to go.
Off turn three, the crew is watching. Cecil Gordon and the rest all cheering. Earnhardt will pick up the victory. Alan Kowicki will finish second. Third, Buddy Baker off the stripe will outdistance Benny Parsons, who finishes fourth. Fifth will be Davey Allison. Sixth spot, Terry Labonte. And Neil Bonnet will finish in seventh spot. Quite a show, and let's watch it again. Here's that final lap as they go through turn one. This is where Kowicki will take the lead.
Allen makes a move on the inside. Earnhardt slips up just a little bit, and Kowicki has that foot firmly planted in the throttle. He will move alongside the Wrangler Chevrolet. Kowicki's heart has to be pounding. Earnhardt on the outside. Last lap, going for $50,000+, and Kowicki has made the pass, headed for turn two.
Clean return pass by Dale Earnhardt. He moves to the inside of Alan Kowicki and very quickly scoots away. And as we saw before, he pulled off to a victory, a margin that was a comfortable one at the finish. Dale Earnhardt will be in victory lane. His 8th of the year, and quite a second-place finish for Alan Kowicki. No, it wasn't a win, Jerry Punch, but at the same time, quite a showing, and he's with Pat Patterson.
First of all, congratulations on a great run this afternoon, finishing second here at Pocono.
Well, thank you. It was a real good run for us. And Xerox Aluguard Ford Thunderbird, also sponsored by Winard Ford. And that's the best run of my career, the closest I ever came to winning. And in a way, I'm happy to run that good or to finish second. In a way, I'm real disappointed to have a chance to win the race and not win it.
You, on those last few laps, Alan, it looked like you really had in your mind a plan to get around Earnhardt and stay around Earnhardt. Did that plan come together?
I guess not. I didn't win the race. You know, I timed it. I knew how I wanted to pass him. I did it just about that way. But somehow he got back by me, and that's it. He won the race, so I just hope there's another day for it.
Alan Kowicki with a good run here in the Summer 500.
A nearly tearful Alan Kowicki. No, he didn't win today at Pocono, but what he did do is he gathered a lot of fans, a lot of people who really felt he gave it his best.
A mixed reception for Dale Earnhardt. Joe Mattioli, folks from Winston, Bill Broderick from Unical 76, all there in Victory Lane as part of the festivities. Pat Patterson making his way now over to Dale Earnhardt. A huge crowd here today. Let's go down to Victory Lane, gentlemen.
Dale, congratulations. You started 16th. By lap 22, you were all the way up and leading this race. The crew gave you great service all day long, and it was your 8th win of the season.
Well, that's crew. You know, the crew did it all. They got us out of the pits and from 4th place to 1st and beat them all out of pits. They done that several times a day, and the car worked real consistent. We didn't change tires that last time. I don't know whether Alan did or not, but he was awful strong, and you know, I just had to race him. He got a little rough with me at first, and we just raced him back like he won a race.
Those last few laps, did you have any doubt in your mind that you could handle his car?
Well, I was going to race him to try to win a run second one. You know, I knew me or him was going to win a run second. You know, it was going to be a good race.
Okay, Dale Earnhardt in victory lane here at Pocono.
Well, he's wearing everybody out this year, isn't he?
Absolutely. 8 wins, and he takes home, Eli, a record $55,875.
And if you're just joining us along the way, the familiar face of Tim Richmond not around at the end. He was out early. There are the top 5 finishers. Earnhardt, Kowicki, Baker, Parsons finishing in the 4th spot. And 5th went to Davey Allison. Their positions numbers 6 through 10. So quite a finish today. The good battles back and forth. Bill Elliott had problems early. He, too, not around at the finish. But it's still Dale Earnhardt comfortably atop the Winston Cup points. He has a 409-point lead over Neil Bonnet. And all of us here at SETN congratulate Dale Earnhardt for his victory, the 8th